Hello, good afternoon. Come on in again, once again, to our Real Table Talk. We have some good information that we know that you would like to be informed on, and we have a special guest. So before we get started, I'm going to ask you, would you please hit that share button, hit that like button, call up a friend, and just let them know that they want to hear this. So we're just going to go ahead on and get this started. Again, thank you for coming in to our Real Table Talk. We're going to be talking about tonight, our segment is going to be about the vaccine and about the COVID-19, what's going on with the pandemic and everything like that. And I know that you need to know some information, some updates, and all of that stuff so that we will not be ignorant. So we want to know. So like I say, make sure now, hit that like button, hit that share button, share this information, because as soon as we share this information is as soon as we can get back out, and start loving on our loved ones and our children and grandchildren like we used to. So tonight, I would like to introduce our guest on tonight, and she's so beautiful, and thank you so much. Now, I call her Candace. So we're going to ask Candace to go ahead on and introduce herself.
Good evening. Thanks for having me, Apostle.
You're quite welcome.
My name is Candace Walton. I am a nurse practitioner for the Chatham Hospitalist at Candler Hospital.
Yes.
I have been a registered nurse for the past 16 years, and I've been a nurse practitioner for 2. So I have had a firsthand experience with COVID-19 for the past year and a half now.
Yes. So, okay, can you tell us, because we know that the vaccine is out, and a lot of people are not really saying getting the vaccine like they should get it, not as quick as they should. And in the holidays of Thanksgiving and Christmas, and but we ain't gonna talk about we ain't gonna talk about Halloween. But then some do go,
Right.
The Halloween. But we just want to find out. Why should we get it and why should we not get it? Who is it targeting? So my first question is, what is COVID-19 and what does it do to the body? Because we know, just like you say, you are firsthand with that.
Right. So we know COVID-19 originally started back in 2019. It was detected in Wuhan, China. And the first cases here in the United States were detected in January of 2020. At first, we didn't really know a lot about COVID-19. We thought it was just a respiratory disease, a virus is what it is. But we're finding now that it's affecting almost every part of your body. But it is primarily a respiratory tract disease. It is transmitted through droplets. So just kind of like the flu, that's how it's transmitted.
So that's why it's so important to have that mask on.
Right. That's why it's very important to have your mask, especially if you're not vaccinated. It is very important to wear your mask. And I tell people, even if you are vaccinated, if you want to be indoors and it's going to be, a population of more than 10 people, I tell you to still wear your mask. They say, when you're around vaccinated people, you don't have to be as cautious. And that is true. But when you're not sure, it's still a good idea to wear your mask because you can still contract the disease even if you're vaccinated.
So let me ask you this before we go to the next question, because that seems like it's a concern, I know to me, because a lot of people, some people have been vaccinated. I feel that they're getting a little bit too at ease, because they're now not wearing their mask like they was when they wasn't vaccinated. So can you just elaborate on that a little bit? Although I'm just saying I'm vaccinated, but then I need to wear a mask, right? Okay.
What I tell people is, like, I'm vaccinated, you're vaccinated.
That's
we're
right.
Here in a small setting, we're not right on top of each other, so it's okay, that we don't have on a mask. But when you're in a bigger population, you're not sure who's been vaccinated, because some people the rule is supposed to be you don't wear a mask if you're vaccinated. But we have people, especially in grocery stores and shopping malls,
That's
you're
right.
not sure who's vaccinated.
That's right.
And a lot of people aren't wearing their mask who should still be wearing their mask. But it's mainly to protect others from your germs, because we have a lot of people that have COVID and they're asymptomatic. So to keep everybody keep their germs to themselves, the best way to do that is to use a mask. So and especially with the younger kids, because as of right now, children under the age of 12 cannot be vaccinated, and a lot of them are asymptomatic carriers. So they
Okay.
are passing the disease without even knowing that they're infected.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, who's most at risk of contacting the virus?
The most at-risk population are our older population, at least 65 or older, and anyone with comorbidities. Comorbidities would be an underlying issues such as heart disease, lung disease, especially asthma. Diabetes is a major one, and anybody with any type of autoimmune disease or on any kind of chemotherapy for cancer treatments.
Gotcha.
Those people should be very, very careful with going in large crowds, and I highly recommend that those people be vaccinated. And if anyone has any questions about being vaccinated and if they can be vaccinated, they should definitely talk to their primary care provider.
Okay, we was gonna also get to that because that is good. Yes, to talk, because a lot of people are not educated and they don't have the right information, because there was a lot of things that okay, let's talk about our younger teenagers, because when I talk to some of the teenagers or the young people, they will say something like, well, I don't need to be vaccinated because, that's not for our age, that's for the elderly. But can you say something to a young person now? You can look right there in that camera and let them know that they are not exempt.
Yes. Now, when the disease first came around, it was thought that the younger population were not getting it and they were not being affected. But we have found that to be untrue.
Okay.
At first, the younger population was getting it, but they were usually asymptomatic. But being asymptomatic does not mean that you're not spreading it. So if you feel like you can't get it, you still have to think about your parents, your
Yes.
grandparents, your church community, your neighborhood community, neighbors, friends, all the people that you could possibly be bringing it to. Because my son is 15. He also at first wasn't too keen on getting the vaccine, but he knew that he did not want to take that back home to my mom. So
Okay.
that was his major factor in deciding to get the vaccine. I didn't push it on him. I wanted that to be something that he chose on his own to do.
Right.
But he chose that because he knew that he could possibly bring that home to my mother. And now it seems that the younger population is definitely now being affected, and we've seen more and more younger children and young adults being hospitalized and actually dying from the disease.
Oh, okay. So can you repeat that? The reason why I want you to repeat that is because I know personally several young people, and I was talking to this young lady, and she's probably was like in her early 20s, I'd say about 21, 22, and she wound up with COVID-19, and she took it back to her grandmother, and it's haunting her today. And so that's the reason why I want you to repeat it, because like you say, firsthand there, you can, because what you were saying about they being asymptomatic, not even knowing, can take it back, and when the parent or their grandparents wind up getting it, it wind up breaking their hearts.
Right. And that's something really heavy to carry, knowing it was something that you could have prevented.
She was very heartbroken.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, so it's very, very important. If you're at the age limit where you can receive the vaccine, that's the only way we're going to get back to having somewhat of a normal life. Especially if you're in school, the schools are very congested, and of course they have
Yes.
mask mandates in Chatham County, but a lot of surrounding counties do not. My children go to Bryan County schools where now they've lifted the mask mandate, so it's optional.
Yes.
So it's very, very important. I feel that, you have your children vaccinated or you talk with them about being vaccinated, and we have to lead by example because there's a lot of parents out there who still aren't vaccinated.
Right.
And this is very important, and especially in our community. In the Black community, we are not being vaccinated at the rates that we should. We are dying at almost double rates
Yes.
as our counterparts. And, it's crazy right
And
now.
that is the reason why. And I thank you so much for coming and sharing that information with us. That is the reason why that we're using this platform tonight to, try our best to encourage, the young, the middle age, whosoever had not. And if you don't know the information, please reach out and get the information, because the information is right there before us. Just like Ms. Candace said, that we can go to our primary doctor, but do you not know that there's a lot of people that does not have primary doctors?
That is very true. Any clinic, J.C. Lewis Clinic, Curtis Cooper, they are all available. You can go in and get information on the vaccine. A lot of those clinics have vaccine clinics. They different times of the day or different days of the week they get vaccines. You can really just get on the internet and find a lot of information. You can find a lot of wrong information on the internet as well. But you need to go to reputable sites such as CDC, and you can find out the correct information regarding the vaccines. A lot of things I hear people say is they don't get the vaccine because they don't know what's in it.
Right.
What you really should be worrying about is once you get the disease, the medications that we give you at the hospital to keep you alive. Those are way more potent and harmful to your body than the vaccine.
Wow.
A lot of the medicines that you get to help you breathe, they kill your kidneys. And then we have to worry about getting your kidneys back functioning before you go home. And people have long-standing issues with recovery after they've had to get a lot of the treatments that go along with the COVID-19. But the main things that I've heard from the vaccine are just site irritation, sore arm, and you may have a few chills and fever a few hours after having the vaccine, but no long-standing effects.
Right. Not like the COVID-19.
Not like COVID-19. No, ma'am, not like COVID-19. Some people have had COVID-19 at the very beginning, way back in January 2020, but they're still having effects from that now. Even people that were completely healthy prior to getting COVID-19 are still having effects. Like I have a coworker who had COVID-19 at the beginning of the pandemic. She was a runner, would run about 5 miles a day. Now she says she can't run a mile without getting winded, but she was in perfect shape. So, and we just don't know, and you never know who's going to get affected and how they'll be affected. We've had people with a lot of comorbidities who had COVID and it was like a cold. And then you've had people who've had no comorbidities, perfectly healthy, who ended up on a ventilator. So you just never know how it's going to do.
How's it going to affect you?
Right. So I just advise everybody not to take that chance. COVID
That's right.
is still out there. Looking around, you would think it's not, because people are out and about. They're back to normal, but it's still there. We still have patients coming in to the hospital. We still have patients ventilated. We still have patients dying. It is still out there, and you still need to be very careful.
And I thank you again, once again, because I like this, and this is the reason why we're on, so that we can have, like you say, someone that is knowledgeable, someone that's firsthand, right there. And so even another sad situation is when your loved ones wind up with COVID and have to go into the hospital. It is so sad that they have to be in there alone, that you can't, and some make it out and some does not make it out. And that too, can be devastating, that you cannot even be with them at their last hours. And so, it is so important, people of God, listen. It It is so important. So the next question is, what are the different types of variants?
So with a variant comes about when the disease starts mutating. So it's really thousands of variants of the coronavirus. Coronavirus has been around for several years. This is just a different strand of the coronavirus that we're seeing that they have named COVID-19. And so far, there have been thousands of mutations of COVID-19, but we're only concerned with about 4, and that's the alpha, beta, gamma, and the delta. And right now we're dealing with the delta variant, which seems to be the strongest, and that's the one that seems to be affecting everybody at this point. So the young are more affected with this delta variant. It's much stronger and it's more difficult to treat. The vaccines are still working with the Delta variant. Some people, were saying, well, people are still getting it even if they have the vaccine, and that is true. But it greatly reduces your risk of being hospitalized, and it greatly reduces your risk of death if you have had the vaccine.
Okay, so let me get this understanding. Okay, you say when it came out, which it been came out, but 2019, 2020. So during, if I'm not mistaken, during that time, it killed almost over 600,000, in the United States. So you mean to tell me Delta is worse than that?
Yes, and I feel that the Delta variant, we're not exactly sure when it came about, but we know that the disease, it mutates and it changes and it gets stronger.
Okay.
And this strand is still very strong, but the original strand killed more people because we did not have vaccines. We did not know what we were doing with it. We were not wearing masks. We were not social distancing, so it kind of just took us by storm.
Gotcha.
Now we have more information and we know what to do, but we still aren't doing it as well as we should be.
Okay.
We know now that social distancing, we know that wearing masks, it works. Some people are trying to say that it doesn't work, but it definitely works because the rates have tremendously slowed down. Transmission has slowed down, but it's still not where we need to be.
Okay.
We need to be, as a community, at a 70% vaccination and immunity rate. You can be immune by vaccination or recovery from the disease. But we are only at about 50%.
Wow.
56% in the U.S., but Georgia is only at about 46%.
So we have a long ways to go.
We have a very long way to go.
Oh, wow.
So it's very important if everybody wants to get back to being able to be with your families, being able to be with your community, being able to come back and congregate in a regular church setting, to be able to have, get together for celebrations. It's very important that we get these vaccines so we can do that comfortably, because now when I get invited to something, you want to go, but you're very hesitant.
Cautious.
And you really don't have as much fun when you're worried about, as soon as you hear a cough, everybody looking at you. You can't even cough in public.
And so and also it's getting ready, for the flu season. And so we really have to be very cautious and careful, because the flu is there and the virus is there, and so
Right, and I advise everybody now to go out and get your flu shots as well. You want to get your flu, and while you're going out to get your flu, go ahead and get your COVID-19 vaccinations.
Okay.
I do advise that.
Okay. All right. So you're saying that they can get it at the same time, or just?
You can get it at the same time, yes. If you've never had any problems with the flu shot, I advise you to go ahead and get that, and you can get those at the same time. But you can space them out. If you usually get a little sick with the flu shot, I advise spacing it out some.
Okay. All right. Can you look right there in the camera? Do you have the information where they can go and get the vaccine?
Yes. Vaccines are usually available at your local pharmacies, including Walgreens, CVS. You can call, make an appointment. You can go on their websites to make an appointment. You can also talk to your primary care provider. A lot of the primary care provider offices are offering the vaccines. You can look on, like I said, that vaccines.gov. You can go to vaccines.gov, and that will give you a list of different places that are offering the vaccine in your area. They are still offering 3 different types of vaccines. All vaccines are not offered at each clinic. Okay. If you're looking for a certain one, you can type in that vaccine to find out where it's given. Right now, it's still offered as Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. Pfizer is fully FDA approved. Moderna and Johnson & Johnson still only have an emergency use approval from the FDA. Pfizer is also approved for ages 12 through adulthood. Johnson & Johnson and Moderna are approved for 16 and over.
Okay, good. That's good information. Okay, the next question is, why is it so important to be vaccinated? And I believe you already done hit on some of that, but just clarify, why it's so important.
It's definitely important if you ever want to get back, like I said, to any type of normalcy, to be able to congregate with family members and friends, to just ensure the health of you and your family, your loved ones, and to make sure that if you do come in contact with this disease, that you are prepared, your body is prepared as it can be, and you're not at risk to be hospitalized or placed on a ventilator or death.
Okay. All right, you gave us some good information, and I tell you, I don't have any question. If you have any question, just type in. We already gave you the information on where you can go at to be vaccinated, because it is very important to be vaccinated. I know a lot of people don't want to be vaccinated because, just like you previous said also, that a lot of them say that it came out too early and what is the side effect. But listen, we rather have a little side effect than to be dead.
Right.
Yes,
right.
So the little side effect, what I mean is a little sore arm or whatever, they'll give you some Tylenol, yes. And whatever. But anyway, we just want to tell you thank you so much, Ms. Caney, for coming on and helping us get this information out to encourage. Because I love Thanksgiving and Christmas. Those two are the best time of year for me, because I'm a family person, and we have a big family. And so I'm gonna let you it's not a secret, but a lot of my grandbabies, they'll say, well, you can't go to Grandma's house because Grandma got this little table right there by the door, and I got my little hand sanitizer, I got my mask, I got my Lysol. Listen, I tell you, I spray them down, yes, because I want to live.
Yes.
We shall live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. And this is real table talk. So once again, thank you so much for coming on and encouraging us and letting us know this information and getting this information out, because we're going to do everything that we can to save lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay. We hope that today that you enjoyed and that you got some information. If you need any more information, please contact us, and we'll get out. We'll make sure that we can lead you, to where you can get to be vaccinated. It doesn't. I'm waiting on my booster shot. I done had my both of my shots, and I'm waiting on my booster shot. So I'm ready. I'm ready. So thank you so much for being on our Real Table Talk. See you next week. Thank you. Hello. Good afternoon. Come on in once again to our Real Table Talk. We have some good information that we know that you would like to be informed on, and we have a special guest. So before we get started, I'm going to ask you, would you please hit that